Chapter 10. A Big Fight. After a delicious dinner, Patience and Precious cleaned up the kitchen. They asked Good Egg and Bad Egg to go tell Scrambled Egg and Humpty Dumpty to get ready for the journey to visit Rainbow. If everyone readied a small backpack with snacks and clothes, they could leave shortly. Excitedly, the two little eggs raced out the door to find their friends. It wasn't very long before Scrambled Egg sat on the porch. Everyone had their backpacks on. Humpty sat in his wheelchair on the front walk, and Good Egg and Bad Egg raced up and down in front of the nest because they were just too full of energy to wait calmly. Big Egg said goodbye to everyone, and the whole gang started off on their trek. Cracked Egg and Meringue led the way. They passed Eggland Lake on the way, and many turtles waved to their friend and sister, Mary Lee, who had come to be known to everyone else as Patience. Then they started up the steep path into the hills around Eggland. They would go by Cracked Egg's house first to get his backpack, and then they would rest there before hiking on to see Rainbow. They traveled rather slowly because of Patience's tiny legs, and all the eggs took turns pushing Humpty Dumpty in his wheelchair. It was a beautiful day, though, and they enjoyed their leisurely walk. Except that after an hour of climbing the hills, pushing the wheelchair when it was his turn, and stopping with everyone else while they waited for Patience, Bad Egg started to get a little antsy. "How much more do we have to go?" he asked Cracked Egg in a whiny voice. "Oh, a long way. Are you getting tired?" Cracked Egg smiled sympathetically. "No, it's just that we were always waiting for Patience. I get tired of waiting." "Oh well, we have a long way to go, so better make the best of it," said Cracked Egg. They all continued on their way, but escalating little by little. Bad Egg took to running up ahead of everyone else, and then would sit down on a rock, waiting for the others to catch up. He would tap his foot impatiently while he waited. Or he would step off the path and pick up rocks and sticks and throw them as far as he could. Sometimes he would explore back in the woods and then come running up behind everyone long after they had passed him by. He liked to kick up the dirt and lob the sticks a little too close to the others. "I don't like going so slowly," he said to everyone, but to no one in particular. "We're never going to get there. This is taking too long." The others ignored his whining and complaining and were actually having a good time. Most of the time, Good Egg or Scrambled were pushing Humpty Dumpty, and the three were all together having a great conversation. You can imagine that Humpty was appreciating being out in nature when just a short while before he couldn't even get out of his bed. Meringue and Cracked Egg were walking in the front, and Precious and Patience were slowly bringing up the tail end, because in truth, Patience was a pretty slow hiker. They were having fun, though, because they loved to talk to each other. It didn't matter if they were standing still, they liked to be together. It was a pretty happy group, except for Bad Egg, who was getting angrier by the minute. "Patience, hurry up!" Bad Egg shouted after her. And then he walked down to her and said, "You sure are slow. Can't you just step on it?" But he said it very impatiently and very angrily. "Bad Egg," said Precious, "don't you dare talk to Patience that way. That's not nice at all." Patience began to cry. "I can't go any faster," she said. "We all just go at our own pace, and we will get there when we get there. Please don't be so mean, Bad Egg." Precious stood and looked at Bad Egg very seriously, while Cracked Egg and Meringue stopped and watched. "It's just a little farther to my house," Cracked Egg called down to Bad Egg. We will stop and rest and have a snack when we get there. Come on, just a little more." "I don't want to go see Rainbow," Bad Egg shouted out. "This is too far. I can't stand walking along at a turtle pace." "Bad Egg, stop it," Precious shouted back. "You're being mean." "No, I'm not. I'm just fed up." And then Bad Egg reached out and pushed Precious so hard that she fell back and rolled down the hill, crashing against rocks and into tree roots. She rolled and rolled down the way they had come until she came to a halt in the grass beside the path. Her shell was cracked all over, and she was oozing egg white out onto the dirt. Everyone raced to her side, except Bad Egg, who ran and hid in the woods. He knew he had done something really terrible. He crawled behind a rock and peeked out to see what was happening with his sister. "Oh, oh," moaned Precious, "I'm all broken. What am I going to do?" Cracked Egg called to Good Egg and Scrambled Egg. "My house is just up this hill. Bring Humpty Dumpty to the house in the wheelchair, and we will put him on my bed. Then you can bring the wheelchair back and down for Precious." And that's what they did, as fast as all their little legs could move. Meanwhile, Patience and Meringue stayed with Precious and wiped away the dripping egg whites and her tears. "You're going to be okay, Precious," they kept saying to her. "It will be all right." Bad Egg watched as they all carefully lifted his sister into Humpty's wheelchair and rolled her gently up the hill to Cracked Egg's house. He was scared for his sister, but didn't know what he should do. He felt so guilty. He dared not come out from behind the rock. He didn't know how to get back home. He knew he had done the worst thing he had ever done in his life. He wanted to cry, but was afraid someone would see him and think he was a sissy. He looked around, and everyone else had gone up to Cracked Egg's house. Bad Egg was all alone and scared to death.